If you've ever felt completely lost while trying to meet a stranger from the internet, well, welcome to my life in Accra. This is the third and final part of my time in Ghana's capital, and trust me, Accra still had plenty of surprises left. In this episode, we're peeling back more layers of Ghanaian society, from confusing couchsurfing meetups.
We're at the wrong park. My friend is laughing at us.
And traffic that eats your schedule, to a conversation Cynthia and I had about government bloat and why the Ghanaians talk so much about ministers. So many ministers.
Yeah, apparently it went down at least from 173 to 154.
We'll also take a deeper look at the cost of living and income gaps.
A teacher would make about $1,000 per year.
Yeah, when he said per year, I thought, oh, he misspoke. It's got to be per month.
But he said it twice.
And what everyday life looks like for people here. Plus, the Vagabond Hotline is back, and this time we're talking about the strangest thing you've ever eaten while traveling. Think fermented horse milk, live squid, and a real Pumbaa. Let's just say it's not always fine dining. This episode has foods, facts, philosophy, and a few awkward moments along the way. My name is Palabo, and this is the Radio Vagabond. Deep dives, detours, and daily life in Accra.
A curious soul collecting voices, vibes, and vivid stories from every corner of the world. This is the Radio Vagabond.
So Hotels25.com. Their algorithm is trying to find those baggage fees, all that.
Yes.
You think you're getting a good deal.
Right.
And then suddenly it's like $100 more.
So they're really trying to help you.
They're trying to be your,
Make a good decision.
Yeah, your buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Hotels25.com.
Okay, we made it to the quiet, beautiful botanical garden, and Cynthia, we just had two interesting Uber rides, and I wasn't recording. I wish I was, but it was very noisy, and we just got into the conversation. Then it was too late, but they told us some interesting facts about this country.
Very real experiences from men who are driving around the capital here, very much on the ground, younger men trying to work, trying to do the right thing, and yet really, really struggling. The whole country appears to be struggling based on both of their opinions.
Yeah, one of the things is they have so many ministers.
One thing we kept hearing about from Uber drivers here in Accra, apart from complaints about traffic, was how Ghana has too many ministers. So as Cynthia and I were walking through the peaceful botanical garden, surrounded by tropical trees and birds chirping, we ended up talking about politics and what the Uber drivers have told us.
Yeah, apparently it went down at least from 173 to 154.
Yeah, I saw some place that says 110. Whether it's 110, 154 or whatever, it's still like crazy.
Apparently at some point there were so many that I started wondering if they also had a minister of mid-morning snacks or a minister of umbrella coordination for unexpected rain showers. Honestly, if you stick around long enough, someone might appoint you Minister of Sidewalk Shade Strategy. But joking aside, it's something people really talk about here.
And the government pays for their housing, they pay no utilities, they pay nothing for medical care. They get a monthly stipend just for their own use, cars. Basically all their expenses are taken care of, and yet they have money given to them on top of that.
It seems like somebody's taking care of their friends.
Yeah, absolutely. As the new ministers get developed and appointed, it sounds like absolutely if you are friends with the right people, then you get one of these positions and you're taken care of.
Yeah, but as far as I've seen, it's a democracy, so my question to both of them was, why don't you just elect somebody else?
So we did get slightly different opinions on that from the two drivers. The first one said it's completely based on, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the group. It's the largest group of indigenous peoples. They control the majority party here and have always. And then another indigenous group controls the secondary party. And so people just vote along essentially party or tribal lines. And no one, so technically they're voting, but
they're equally as bad.
Yeah, the second guy definitely said they're both as bad, and he said he just stopped voting because it didn't make any sense to vote because no one is any good. No one seems to have the interests of the people at heart.
Yeah.
When we did facts about where we are, I mentioned that Ghana is a lower middle-income country. It's not rich, but it's not the poorest either. Well, we also had some interesting conversations with our Uber drivers about this on the way to the botanical garden.
What the last guy told us was, he's an Uber driver. He opened his Uber app at 5 o'clock this morning, and we were his first ride at 1 o'clock.
6 hours, and the guy's trying to work and literally got one ride. He even told us he only eats one time a day and then drinks a lot of water to try and get through to the next day.
Yeah. The other guy said that if you're able to feed your family 3 meals a day, you're considered rich.
I suppose we shouldn't be surprised because much of Saharan Africa has that problem. I think it's just surprising to me because of the pre-trip research. Everyone on a worldwide scale, at least what I've read, seems to feel like Ghana is doing well, particularly compared to its neighbors. And I think the second Uber driver confirmed, compared to the neighbors, they are doing well. But they still have 70 to 80% of the population living hand to mouth, I believe was his exact words, 70 to 80% of them.
Yeah, and considered how little they make, Ghana is, in his word, the most expensive country in Africa.
Yeah,
which surprised me.
Yeah, compared to, I think you mentioned Angola, I was thinking South Africa, Tanzania, Kenya, Madagascar. There's some very expensive places, even as tourists, that are expensive to go to. So the fact that they seem to have a big inflation problem.
According to the Cost of Living Index from Numbeo, Ghana ranks number 6 in Africa for overall cost of living. While rent is generally lower than in places like South Africa, groceries are over 20% more expensive, and even restaurant prices are slightly higher.
And the salaries are super low.
Yes, so he said the average salary is $1,500. I assumed he was quoting us in dollars per year. And I asked if that was what a teacher would earn, because I often ask what a teacher earns in every country as kind of a benchmark. He said no, a teacher would not make that much. A teacher would make about $1,000 per year.
Yeah, when he said per year, I thought, he misspoke. It's got to be per month.
But he said it twice.
Yeah,
he was not misquoting it, I don't believe.
Again, that sounded a bit surprising, so I also looked into that. According to data from PayScale, the average annual salary for a high school teacher in Ghana is just over 20,000 Ghanaian cedis, which comes out to about $1,500 per year. And there's something else that's important to understand. The big difference between high and low income in Ghana. Some people earn very little and others earn very much.
No, and that's something that I've seen and heard in so many countries, not only in Africa, but the difference between the high income and the low income is staggering.
A school teacher might make around $125 a month, while someone working in a bank, a telecom company, the oil industry, or certain government jobs can make 10 or 20 times more than that, and sometimes even more.
You do have that in some countries like India. There's just 1% rich and 98% of everyone else.
Yeah, I remember I was doing a talk in Mumbai about radio advertising, and I wanted to show that you should look into who are you speaking to, how do you hit your target group. So I asked the hosts that had hired me for this speaking gig that what is a normal high salary and what is a normal low salary, and they gave me some numbers, and I put it in the chart and said, no, that's got to be wrong. That's got to be missing at least 1 or 2 digits here. But they said, no, that's right. The number for the low income, an average low income, was just so low that I thought this cannot be true.
There is a growing middle class, especially in big cities like Accra. But still, many people are working hard just to get by, including our Uber drivers. So yes, Ghana is a warm and welcoming country full of energy, but behind all that, there's also a big gap between rich and poor. And for a lot of people, life is not easy.
And now, is there law and order in this country?
So how safe is Ghana?
Is it safe here?
Well, overall, Ghana is one of the more peaceful and stable countries in West Africa. It's not crime-free, but you're unlikely to run into serious trouble, especially if you use your common sense.
How is the crime rate here?
According to Statistica, Ghana's crime index in 2023 was around 44 out of 100. It puts it in the moderate zone. Not amazing, but far from terrible. Petty crime like pickpocketing and phone snatching can happen, especially in crowded places like markets or bus stations. But violent crime is relatively low.
Is there corruption here?
Now, corruption, that's a bit more of a thing here. A UN survey found that more than 1 in 4 Ghanaians who dealt with public affairs were asked to pay a bribe. And the police? Yeah, they often rank as the most corrupt institution in the country. Not exactly confident building, but sadly not unusual in this region. The good news is Ghana is working on it. They've set up something called the Office of the Special Prosecutor to fight corruption. It's slow work, but at least they're trying. So the bottom line, Ghana is mostly safe for travelers. Just stay alert, don't flash your stuff around, and maybe don't expect 100% efficiency from the system. And if someone in a uniform asks for a little extra to move things along, well, let's just say you're not the first. But let's also talk about some of the more surprising laws and customs you'll find here in Ghana. First off, honking your car horn unnecessary is actually illegal. And that's important to remember in a place where your hand is automatically placed above the middle of your steering wheel. So if you're the type who likes to express yourself with a bit of horn action, you might want to hold back. Another interesting one, civilians are not allowed to wear military attire or clothing that resembles military uniforms. This law is in place to prevent confusion and maintain respect for the armed forces. And perhaps the most controversial law, Ghana has recently passed a strict anti-LGBTQ+ bill, which could result in imprisonment for individuals involved in LGBTQ+ activities or support. This has drawn significant criticism from international human rights organizations. So while Ghana is known for hospitality and a vibrant culture, it's also a place where certain laws and customs might surprise you. When you're traveling, trying local foods is a part of the adventure. Sometimes it's delicious, sometimes it's an experience. Am I really gonna eat this? Last week I asked you to share the wildest things you've ever eaten while traveling. And let's just say some of you are far braver than I am. So now it's time for
The Vagabond Hotline.
Liam from Dublin, Ireland sent me this one.
I was in Cambodia and someone handed me a fried tarantula. They said it was a local delicacy, so I thought, why not? Turns out it was crispy on the outside, mushy on the inside, and somehow even more terrifying to eat than to look at. I tell people it tasted like soft-shell crab, but honestly, I think I blacked out halfway through.
May from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia says this.
In Japan, I tried live squid. They bring it out still moving, and you have to eat it while it's wiggling. It's supposed to be fresh, but I swear it was fighting back. I nearly choked when one of the tentacles latched onto my tongue. Never again.
Daniel from Cape Town, South Africa, was on a bit of an adventure.
I was in Mongolia, sitting in a cozy yurt with a group of locals, feeling pretty adventurous. That is, until they handed me a bowl of areg, fermented mare's milk. Now, I didn't want to be rude. These people had welcomed me into their home, and I was determined to embrace the culture. So like an absolute fool, I took a big sip. Huge mistake. Imagine if someone left a cup of warm, expired yogurt out in the sun for a week. then decided, hey, let's carbonate this. That was the flavor explosion in my mouth. Sour is the best way to describe it. But the locals were loving it. They were watching me with barely contained grins, nodding encouragingly as if to say, yes, yes, drink more. Let the dairy consume you. I somehow managed to swallow without crying, gave them a thumbs up and mumbled something that was supposed to be delicious, but probably came out as help me. I'm pretty sure they could see me reevaluating every decision that had led me to that moment.
And then finally, I got a voice message from my trusted travel companion, the one and only Cynthia Globe, that I'm traveling with here in Ghana. From back home in Florida, she sent this.
Everyone knows the Lion King has a warthog character named Pumbaa. I haven't eaten Pumbaa, but I have eaten warthog. I was in South Africa a few years ago, and my friend Peter took me to a wild game grocery store where you can purchase wild game that has been properly hunted with licensed and permitted hunters. They don't want to waste the meat, so it is sold. It never occurred to me that one would eat a warthog because they are super muscular. They have to be because they have to be able to hunt and dig and run, so they have to be muscular. So Peter asks me if I will eat it if he cooks it. And the answer for me is always yes. There is no food that I will ever not try. So how do you cook warthog? Well, first you get some logs and you make a pile of them and you set them on fire outside and you get it going really hot. And then you put a cast iron pot on it. Add the warthog and some carrots and some potatoes, and then you just leave it. I mean, literally drive away and leave it for 10 to 12 hours. And when you come back, it is so tender and so delicious. Who would guess? Warthog could taste so good.
Food is one of the best ways to experience a culture, even if sometimes it challenges your stomach and taste buds. I'd also like to hear from you. What's the strangest thing you've ever eaten while traveling? For me personally, the weirdest thing I've eaten was actually here in Ghana, but I'll save that story for later in this series. I won't even tell you what it was just yet. Stay subscribed to find out. But I can tell you of one thing that I was offered but had to turn down. Balut. If you've been to the Philippines, you know what I'm talking about. If not, let me explain. So, balut is a fertilized duck egg. Sounds innocent, right? But this egg has a little something extra, like a partially developed, ugly duckling inside. I'm talking feathers, beak, bones, the whole soon-to-be quacking package. It's boiled and eaten straight from the shell. Locals will tell you it's a delicacy, rich in protein, good for stamina, and something you must try at least once. But honestly, I just couldn't do it. I'd cracked the shell, peeked inside, and that was enough. There it was, staring back at me like, "Really, Pally? Are you gonna eat me after I've grown a face?" No. Hard pass. I've eaten a lot of strange things on the road, but this one, my stomach booked for an early checkout. The next topic on the Vagabond Hotline is about the most beautiful view you've ever seen while traveling. There are some moments in travel that just stop you in your tracks. Standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon, watching the northern lights dance across the sky, or seeing a sunrise over the Angkor Wat Temple. These are the moments that make all the effort and the long flights worth it. What's the most breathtaking view you've ever seen while traveling? A place that made you stop, take a deep breath, and just soak it all in. Send me your message at theradiovagabond.com/contact, where you can also leave me a voice message by clicking Talk to Me. It's a cool little feature where you can listen to yourself after and redo it, so you're not going to send me something where you sound awkward. Trust me. Or simply send an email to listener@theradiovagabond.com.
Not just a podcast about travel. This is a podcast about what travel does to us. The Radio Vagabond. Gotta keep moving.
As we're walking through the park, a guy looked at me and said, "Hey, Danish man in Accra." I thought he was joking. Cynthia was howling. Apparently, word gets around when you're singing sting covers in a slightly wobbly baritone. So I might be going viral in Accra. My next stop could be a karaoke world tour. But we're not just here to enjoy the peaceful garden. We're actually on our way to meet David, a local person Cynthia connected with through Couchsurfing.
We're at the Accra Botanical Garden, and we were supposed to meet somebody from the Couchsurfing community who works here, and Cynthia's been talking to him. And when we thought we saw all of the park, we left and then went to grab some lunch. And we wrote to him before we got here, but he never responded. So we walked around and saw all of the park, and then went to outside to grab some lunch. And then he answered, and he said that there's a lake and there's a waterfall, and he's at the restaurant inside the park, and we did not see any of those things. So now he's meeting us and taking us for a quick tour of that. So we're going back inside the botanical gardens here in Accra.
The event tonight is something that Cynthia set up, as she often does on our trips. She's one of the few official Couchsurfing ambassadors in the US. And Couchsurfing isn't just about finding a place to sleep. It's also about meeting locals, sharing stories, and building community. She posted a public meetup on Couchsurfing.com, and that got a ton of attention.
It looks like Cynthia is on the phone with him now.
And I'll try to give you some notice. I so appreciate you trying to work with us, but I think the timing is bad. We're at the wrong park. Okay. My friend is laughing at us.
So we went to the wrong park. That's what happens.
I left. I just a note at the destiny. I said nobody has been here, and you said, "Hey, you didn't see anything." I need a clue, so I was wow. Why you need a clue? Because people are here, they're enjoying. So
yeah, and she was talking about the waterfall and a restaurant, and we didn't see any of that.
All right. So when we get back into town, we'll arrange in advance with you to meet at your garden, and hopefully you can make the event tonight. So we'll be at the mall till 8 till it closes. So anytime if you can swing by, we will be in the lower part of the food court, not up near the Burger King, but the lower part. And we're expecting almost 30 people tonight.
30 people.
30 people, yep.
Yes.
It's going to be a big group. It'll be fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You should come. You should come. Then we all move to the area, because here, from here to that place is not a big deal. We can reach there on time.
Oh, I'm sure. We've been moving around too much today, so I'm just... Yeah, it's just too much time in taxis, almost 1 hour coming and going and stuff. And then I feel like we wouldn't have any quality time with you there. So, I think it's just better if we come later in the trip.
Let's book another day. Then
we will, because we will be back.
Then we see what.
Yeah, and then we can have quality time with you. It'll be fine. It'll be good. Thank you so much for trying to work with me in all the confusion of which KFC and which park were we at.
The good news is, it's a good story for the podcast.
And we need to Google how many KFCs and botanical gardens are there in Accra. Apparently a lot. Yeah.
The answer to that is 10 KFCs and 2 botanical gardens. So not as many as we expected.
He's the radio vagabond, podcasting his way from icy peaks to tropic breeze display. Every download a story key, inspiring souls to wander to live and be free.
A few hours later, we're heading to the Couchsurfing meetup. It's taken place in an open-air food court area of a mall in Accra. And as expected, a lot of people show up. Actually, more than the 30 that had signed up. We buy a few pizzas to share, and as we're snacking, Cynthia is moderating the event.
So what I thought we'd do is I call it around the table, and so everybody just say who you are and where you're from, and then let's pick a travel topic. Let's say your favorite type of travel. So, like, is it camping? Is it going to see friends and family? Is it going to the mountains and hiking? What's your kind of favorite type of travel? Since we're a travel club. And Pele, you should go first.
I should go first.
You should.
Hi guys, my name is Palle, and my favorite way of traveling is doing a road trip, and that's also when I use Couchsurfing the most, when I go from place to place and get to meet a lot of people. I've done that a lot in the US. We're about to do one here in Western Africa. I love going around, seeing new things, meeting new people.
All right, hi everyone. I'm Vitas, that's the shorter version. Vytautas, the full version. So I think Vitas works best usually. I am originally from Lithuania, currently based in Ghana for the last 9 months. So still discovering the country and Accra, the area, but it's a really cool place to be. And hoping to discover more of the place here and in the region around. It was a tough question about the mode or way of traveling. The thing that comes to my mind now, maybe because I miss it the most, is traveling with a motorbike, which I don't do so often and I haven't done a lot, but maybe it's time to do another motorbike trip because that's the one thing that now on my mind.
Well, I'm also Ebenezer Esuman. I'm from Ghana here. At the moment, I'm residing in Kaswa. I am also a traveler. I guess you said 124 countries, right? Okay, 125. Okay, I guess mine should be 98. Yes. I work with the UN, so I do travel a lot. And then I'm also like a co-chef as well. I love to hike on mountains. I love traveling, building on hiking, so with the mountain stuff. I'm very good at that. So most of the time, if I'm not even in Ghana, I'm at areas like Rwanda. I love their mountain sides. I love going on those kind of expeditions for a while. And then I come back. So at home, I love to play my TikTok stuff at home and then have fun a bit. So I'm in town now, which I'm not going to go now. So.
And we continue around the table for half an hour and get to know each other. It's a great way of meeting not just locals, but also expats living here. The last voice you heard was Ebenezer Esuman, a really interesting man with a fascinating story. We got to hang out with Ebenezer a lot more, and not just here in Accra. But we'll get to that later in this mini-series from Ghana.
Jet lag is temporary. Travel stories are forever. This is the Radio Vagabond.
The next day, our real Ghana adventure outside of the capital begins. We're about to set off on a journey that'll take us around the country. From down here in Accra to the far north and back again, overland to the southern coast. And for now, I'm traveling lighter than usual. I'm leaving my big suitcase, the one Cynthia lovingly calls the coffin, back in the hotel in Accra. Hey, maybe that's what I should be buried in. We'll be circling back here in a week if all goes to plan. First, we fly north to Tamale, and from here we travel overland through Mole, Kintambo, Kumasi, and Cape Coast. Along the way, I'll sleep on the floor. Cynthia will stay in a place with no running water, and then in between we'll switch it up with close to luxury stays, watching elephants roam around when we're having breakfast. We'll meet locals, take the slow roads, get dusty, get surprised, and maybe even a little bit lost. This next part is going to be raw, real, and all over the place. Make sure to follow the podcast. It's gonna be a ride. My name is Palabo, and I gotta keep moving. See ya!
Radio Vagabond.
Produced by RadioGuru.co.uk.